Hi everyone. So this is our first lesson, Pre-Calculus 1.1, Functions. So you will learn about domain of function, interval notation, function, piecewise function. Okay, let's start with the interval notation, example 2.
Okay, write -2 less than equal to x less than equal to 12 using interval notation. Okay, so interval notation. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it from previous classes. In case you haven't forgotten, here I can go over one more time. So if you express on a number line -2, 12, and as you can see, I made a solid dots. It's between -2 and 12. So x is greater than equal to -2, less than equal to 12. So you can just write it as -2 to 12, -2 to 12. And if you have a solid dot bracket, solid dot bracket. So that's interval notation. If this was not solid dot, let's say solid dot to empty dot, for example, -2 to 12. What if this was -2, 12 without equality here? Then your set notation would be, not set notation, the interval notation would be -2, 12, bracket, parenthesis. So parenthesis is doesn't have an equal sign. Okay, write this x is greater than -4 using interval notation. So some of you might be able to write this directly from here. X is greater than -4. Just be careful how that reflected on the number line, if that's not easy for you. X is greater than -4. Don't get confused. Greater than -4. You gotta go to the right. So how do you express this using interval notation? This is the smallest possible. So you say -4, comma, what's the biggest possible? There's no end, meaning it's infinity, positive infinity. Infinity, whether it's positive or negative, always go with the parentheses. Infinity, always go with the parentheses. You will never go with the bracket. And -4 is empty dot here, so you will have to do parentheses. Okay. Write x is less than 3 or x is greater than equal to 54 using interval notation. So try to write this. X is less than 3. So less than 3, think about it. 3 here, less than 3, you gotta go to the left. So when you try to express in interval notation, what's the smallest can go? Smallest can go forever to the left, which is -infinity, comma. What's the biggest can go? 3. -infinity, always go to parentheses. 3 is what? Doesn't have equal sign, empty dot, so you have to do parentheses. So that's this portion. X is greater than equal to 54. Greater than equal to 54. 54 is here. Greater than equal to, you know you have to go to the right. Greater, smaller. X is greater than equal to 54. So what's the smallest number here possible is 54. What's the biggest you can go is infinity, positive infinity. Always parentheses with infinity. 54 is solid dot. So you gotta do bracket. Okay, or means you take everything. Or means you take this or you take this. Anyone satisfied is okay. So or means union. If they did and, there will be intersection. Intersection means you have to find a duplicate. Where do they overlap each other? You're only taking that overlapping part. So for example, if I say x is less than 3 and x is greater than or equal to 0, for example, this is a separate question, by the way. So you can say x is less than 3 and x is greater than or equal to 0. So 0 is somewhere over here. It's going this way. So it's going here, it's going here. And the relationship, you have to find intersection. Intersection happens right here. Greater than or equal to 0, less than 3. So intersection will be greater than or equal to 0, less than 3. And as an interval notation, it will be 0, 3, parenthesis, bracket.
Okay, try this question. You need to pause the video, try it. Then you need to look at the answer later once you try if you got it right. So pause it, try it. You should have gotten this.
Okay, concept of function review. Function, a function f from set A to set B is a relation that assigns to each element in X in set A exactly one element Y in set B. Okay, I don't know if you caught this. Each element in set A exactly one element in set B. What are they talking about? One input only goes to exactly one output. That's what it means. One input can only go to one output. What does that mean? If you ever see split, like let's say 1, 2, 3, and let's say A, B, C. If you see any input producing more than one output, sometimes outcome is A, sometimes outcome is B, that's not a function. That's not a function. So if one input splits to more than one output, that's the part you say, okay, it's not a function anymore. Vertical line test, if your relationship is presented on a graph, you can use a vertical line test. So put vertical line anywhere you like. If that vertical line passes graph more than once anywhere, that's not a function. So at most one point, anywhere you put vertical line, it can pass graph only one point or no point at all. If it passes more than one point, that's not a function. It fails the vertical line test. Okay, determine whether the table represents y as a function of x. So what do we look for here? We look for the input value, which is x value. Aha, do you see x is input as a 1 twice here? What's output here? 1 and minus 1. The same input of 1 is producing different outputs. Sometimes it's minus 1, sometimes it's 1. Right then, you can say this is not a function. So that was sufficient to say not a function. But if you look at 4 and 4, again, that should be producing different outputs. So that's another region, but only one region all you need. No, it's not a function. Okay, determine whether the graph represents y as a function of x. Now we gave you graph. Could be equation, but graph is available, very simple. You just do vertical line test. You put vertical line anywhere you like and check it. Does it pass graph more than one point anywhere you put? No. It only passes once everywhere. So we say, yes, it is a function.
Okay, example 3. Determine whether x equal to 3y squared represents y as a function of x. So here is what you need to do. When you have an equation provided, you want to solve for y. Solve for y. So x equal to 3y squared. Solve for y. Divide by 3, divide by 3. How do you get rid of a square on the right hand side? You take a square root both sides. So take a square root, take a square root. Square root of y square. You should know square root of y square is equal to just y. In a sense, they cancel out. Okay, here's the part you have to be careful. When you take a square root both sides, please do not forget plus minus. You might say, why is that? So that's just a side note. Let's say x squared equal to 9. And if I ask you what's the value of x, many students say 3, and they get that wrong. It's a plus minus 3. The reason is something squared equal to 9. Of course, 3 squared it becomes 9. But something squared equal to 9 minus 3 parentheses square also makes a 9. So be very careful. When you take a square root both sides, do not forget minus. So for that region, when you do solve for y here, get y equal to plus minus square root of x over 3. So you did solve for y. How does that affect our problem here? Do you remember? Function, no function is determined by same input with different outputs. If one input creates two different outputs, that's not a function. So what happens here? What if we plug in an x value as a certain value? Let's just choose easy value. 1 is okay, 2 is okay, but 3 will be great value for value of x. So what happens if you plug in x equal to 3? If you plug in 3 plus minus square root of 3 over 3 equal to y, so 3 over 3 is 1, plus minus square root of 1 equal to y, square root of 1 is 1. So plus minus 1 equal to y. What does that mean? When x value is 3, y value becomes 1 or minus 1. One input creates two different outputs. Sometimes 1, sometimes minus 1. Not a function. Okay, so rule of thumb. When you have y as a power of even power, second power, third, fourth power, sixth power also, that's when you need to be careful. Most likely you will end up with not a function if y has even power. So no, it's not a function. So this part is example. You should try, pause it, try it. Okay, function yes or no. So if you look at it, y does not have even power. So it's x squared. So this is, you can tell, yes, it is a function. Just to explain in algebra, if you solve for y here, 12x squared plus 4y equal to 8, solve for y, minus 12x squared minus 12x squared both sides, 4x equal to 8 minus 12x squared, divide by 4 both sides, y equal to 2 minus 3x squared. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Minus 12 divided by 4 is minus 3. So y equal to this. So this is not like y equal to plus minus something that creates plus value, minus value, two different values. Here is just one value. So if you happen to plug it in x value as 1, 2 minus 3, 1 square should be 2 minus 3. Y value will be just minus 1. If x value is 1, y value will be minus 1. One input, only one output. So you can kind of guess it will happen if y is equal to plus minus something, then you know it's not going to be a function. Okay, example 4. Given value of f of x equal to x squared minus 2x minus 8, find f of 3. So it should be fairly simple for many of you. F of x equal to x squared minus 2x minus 8. I'm going to use different color. F of x equal to x squared 2x minus 8. The question is asking, what is f of 3? So f of whatever, I strongly recommend you to set it up as the following. Did you notice I did not plug in 3 yet inside the parentheses? Rather, I need you to set it up like this. Wherever x appears, just replace it with a parenthesis, then plug it in input wherever x appears or wherever parenthesis appears. So f of 3 equal to 3 squared minus 2, 3 minus 8. So evaluate it to be 9 minus 6 minus 8. That is what? Minus 5? Okay. This is exactly same style. The same function, find f of 2a minus 1. Same thing. Just the way you did this, f of parenthesis equal to parenthesis square minus 2 parenthesis minus 8. Just the way I set up for previous question, I did exactly the same, except I made the parenthesis little bulky. Because you know this 2a minus 1 needs a little more space. 2a minus 1, 2a minus 1, 2a minus 1. So setup, if you understood this setup, that's how you start. Then you just evaluate, combine like term, that's how you finish it. So from here, parenthesis square means 2a minus 1 times itself twice. Minus 2 I'm going to distribute, minus 4a, minus 2 times minus 1 plus 4 minus 8. So you have to fold this, multiply, 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 multiply. You'll fold it. If you do memorize the formula for a minus b parenthesis square equal to a squared minus 2ab plus b squared, if you memorize this formula, you can just apply that formula right here. If you don't memorize this formula, just fold it as the following. Then you will be okay. 2a, 2a, 4a squared. 2a times minus 1, minus 2a. Minus 1 times 2a, minus 2a again. Minus 1 times minus 1, plus 1. Minus 4a, plus 4, minus 8. Combine like term. A squared by himself. A. Minus 2 minus 2 minus 4 minus 8a plus 1 minus 8 minus 7. Final answer. What? Oop, I made a mistake. Minus 2 times minus 1 will be plus 2. My bad. So that should be plus 2. That should be plus 2. And 3 minus, yeah, that's minus 5. Yes, then we are good. Okay, that's the first portion of the video.